Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Excellency, the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, stresses the Sultanate's support for Iraq and its war against terrorism as the Sultanate condemns the inhuman acts committed in Iraq and Sham. Several people are killed and wounded in clashes between the Yemeni army and Houthi rebels in Sana'a. And the records exhibition Oman is near, though it is far, concludes in the Uzbekistan capital city of Tashkent. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has sent a cable of greetings to Her Excellency President Marie-Louise Colerio Preca of Malta on her country's independence anniversary. His Majesty the Sultan sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency Khalifil Young, Governor-General of Belize, on his country's independence anniversary. And His Majesty also sent a cable of greetings to His Excellency President Sergei Sarkisyan of Armenia on his country's independence anniversary. The Sultanate condemned in a speech delivered before the Security Council all terrorists and inhuman acts committed in Iraq and Sham. His Excellency Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah, Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, described the armed group as non-Islamic state group, stressing the Sultanate's support for Iraq in its war against terrorism. He said that Iraq, the country of civilization, will be able, with the support of international community, to overcome the surge. Meanwhile, the Security Council called to support Baghdad in its war against the Daesh group in a statement adopted by a ministerial meeting chaired by John Kerry, U.S. Secretary of State, whose country is chairing the council during this month. The statement called upon the international community to enhance and expand support for Iraqi against infighting armed groups. From its side, Washington urged Iran to play a role in combating Daesh group's threats. Yemen's state-run television building caught fire after a three-day mortar attack by rebels who are protesting against the government. After weeks of protests and clashes, the conflict intensified yesterday when Houthi rebels clashed with the army on the outskirts of Sana'a. Part of the TV building caught fire after shelling this morning, and hundreds were trapped in the building as a result. In the neighboring area close to the Interior Ministry, 3 mortars were fired. In recent weeks, Houthi protesters have blocked the main road in Sana'a's air and held in the ministries, calling for the ousting of the government and the restoration of subsidies cut by the state in July as part of economic reforms. Turkish intelligence agents brought 46 hostages seized by Daesh militants in northern Iraq back to Turkey today after more than 3 months in the captivity, in what President Tayyip Erdogan described as a covert rescue operation. Security sources said that the hostages had been released overnight in the town of Tel Abyad on the Syrian side of the border with Turkey after being transferred from the eastern Syrian city of Raqqa. The hostages, who included Turkey's Consul General diplomats, children and special forces soldiers, were seized from the Turkish consulate in Mosul on June 11th during the lighting advance by the insurgents. Turkish Prime Minister Ahmet Davutoglu said that the authorities had worked tirelessly for the hostages' release. The United States hopes to make headway next week towards a deal to curb Iran's nuclear program in talks already underway in New York between Iran and major powers ahead of the November 24th deadline. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif says there is every prospect a clean deal can be reached. He added that Iran is not interested in nuclear weapons and wants to enrich only to make reactor fuel. It seeks to keep the enrichment activities robust, but Washington wants deep cuts in the program because it can also be used to make the fissile core of a warhead. Fire officials in the U.S. state of Oregon said a new wildfire burned across an estimated 150 acres, prompting the evacuation of at least 50 nearby homes. Emergency crew have also been fighting the blaze about 40 kilometers west of Portland from the air using water retrieved from the nearby Hag Lake. Meanwhile, a prolonged drought has contributed to a massive wildfire burning in Northern California. The King Fire, which authorities said is deliberately set and chewed through nearly 2.5 square kilometers timber and vegetation about 60 miles east of Sacramento. Still to come in our news bulletin. Photokina is a commercial exhibition specialized in photography field held every 2 years at Cologne, Germany. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. In the city of Tashkent in Uzbekistan, the activities of a record exhibition Oman is Close, Though It Is Far, concluded. The event was organized by National Records and Archives Authority. It aimed to highlight the Omani records treasure and acquaint researchers and academics with the civilizational legacy of Oman and its relations with the rest of the world. The exhibition contained different Omani and international records that retold aspects of a deep-rooted Omani history, in addition to a number of manuscripts, coins, stamps, and navigational maps. It also included photos on Oman-Uzbekistan relations and some touristic and archaeological sites in the Sultanate. His Excellency Dr. Abdullah bin Nasser al-Harrasi, Chairman of the Public Authority for Radio and Television, signed in Paris a Memorandum of Understanding (MOU) with France Media Group on cooperation in various media fields. His Excellency, the Chairman of the Public Authority for Radio and Television, said that the MOU covered three main media aspects, namely exchanging media expertise between the two sides, exchanging media products of both establishments, and training. He added that some steps in the field of media training had been already started before this MOU. His Excellency toured the building of the media group. Meanwhile, the French side commended the equanimity of media tendency in the Sultanate and its ability in dealing with rapid challenges and events in the region. Salala Methanol Company signed 7 agreements related to social responsibility to support the finance a number of development projects and programs. It was signed under the auspices of His Excellency Dr. Rashid bin Asafi Al-Huraibi, Chairman of Tender Board, at the 2nd annual dinner party by the company in Rotana Salala Hotel. The agreements included financing of constructing dialysis units in Dhaka and Mirbat Hospital, financing 5 international scholarships in cooperation with Taqatuf Pioneers, in addition to purchase equipment for people with special needs, and financing purchase of laboratory devices for 3 schools, besides supporting sports summer activities in the Governorate of Dhofar and constructed roads for families to hire cave in the Wilaya of Mirbat. The total value of Omani exports to the end of May 2014, which includes oil and gas, non-oil products and re-exports, records a decline of 10.4%, totaling about 8.3 billion Omani riyals when compared with 9.3 billion riyals recorded during the corresponding period in 2013. Recently released trade and export statistics issued by the National Center for Statistics and Information revealed that the decline it attributed to the decline in oil and gas exports by 9.9% from 6.1 billion Omani riyals by end of May 2013 to 5.5 billion riyals by end of May 2014. The total value of merchandise imports through sea, land and air outlets declined by 14.6%, totaling 4.7 billion Omani riyals by the end of May 2014, compared to 5.4 billion riyals during the same period in 2013. Photokina is a commercial exhibition specialized in photography field. It is held every 2 years at Cologne, Germany, with the participation of more than 800 institutions from 132 countries. This round of Photokina included various events to celebrate 175 years since the photography started. It showcased a number of new products in the field of cinema shooting and photography. The exhibition will open to visitors till 21st of this month. Representatives of the biggest companies at photography and printing field gathered to discuss the future of this industry. Photokina also showcased the highlights and most effective photographs during the last 2 years. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Partly cloudy skies will prevail over the coastal areas of the Governorate of the Far and nearby mountains with chances of intermittent drizzle. Rest of the Sultan will have clear to partly cloudy skies with chances of scattered rain over Hajar mountains and nearby areas. Winds will be southeasterly to easterly to moderate along the coastal areas of Sea of Oman, while it will be southerly to southeasterly to moderate over the rest of the Sultanate. Seas along the southern eastern coast will be moderate to rough with a maximum wave height of 2.5 meters, and along the rest of the coast it will be slight to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Excellency, the Minister responsible for Foreign Affairs, stresses the Sultan's support for Iraq in its war against terrorism as the Sultanate condemns the inhuman acts committed in Iraq and Sham. Several people are killed and wounded in clashes between the Yemeni army and Houthi rebels in Sana'a. And the Records exhibition Oman is Near, Though It Is Far, concluded in the Uzbekistan capital city of Tashkent. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studio and the newsroom, it's good night.